Diolch yn fawr iawn am cael fi heddiw. Mae'n pleser i fod yma. Thank you very much for inviting me this evening. It really is a pleasure to be here. And I'm speaking to you from my home in the Cynon Valley, one of the South Wales mining valleys. And these communities were a powerhouse of capitalism at one time, but they were also a source of strong working class consciousness. It was above my home on Hirwaun Common that the red flag was first raised, and these valleys were engaged in the struggles for fair wages, for justice, for better living standards, and for international solidarity. From the Chartist movements of the 1800s to the formation of the trade union movement, on to the establishment of the NHS, then the anti-apartheid movement, the anti-Vietnam War, anti-Iraq War movements, and to the present day, our solidarity with the Palestinian people. The working class people of Wales really have played a leading role in the socialist movement. And we cannot forget that some of the leading lights of the socialist movement lived in and represented these South Wales communities. From Keir Hardie to Nye Bevan, S.O. Davis, Annie Powell, we really do stand on the shoulders of giants of the labour movement here in Cymru. The miners' strike of '84 showed our strength, and the buyout of Tower Colliery showed our ability to take things into our own hands. And yet Wales has suffered badly from exploitation by capitalism and the extraction of wealth from our communities to be put into the hands of the few. And while our valleys are now surrounded by wind farms, the profits continue to be extracted out of our communities into the hands of others. To the present day, across our South Wales valleys and beyond, people are struggling with increasing inequality, economic injustice, democratic decay, and climate collapse. And yesterday's budget just reinforced the reality that the political establishment does not represent the interest of the working class here in Wales. It is only interested in retaining wealth in the hands of the few, and have done very little in that budget for the majority of people who are struggling. Yet again, Wales is being treated with contempt. People feel disconnected and are searching for something new. And people, the masses, really have lost trust in all political institutions and representatives. And here in Wales, as in other parts of the United Kingdom, the vacuum is very sadly being exploited by the far right under the guise of reform, a party which is itself entrenched in the political establishment, which is peddling a divisive and hateful agenda, scapegoating migrants and social security claimants. So when I was invited back in March up to London to one of the founding meetings of your party, I felt enthused and was excited to be involved in the founding process. And there were two overriding reasons why I got involved in the formation and why I remain involved. Firstly, it is a different, new kind of politics. It aims to build power from the grassroots up, becoming embedded in our local communities, in different localities, across demographics, involving a wide array of organisations and campaigns. It is and should be about turning the political establishment on its head to create a people's party which can win power in every sense and at every level. And we are and have been doing this in Wales, from the free school meals campaign, the current home to school transport, the two-child benefit cap, to the coals tips safety, all grassroots driven, people power. And the second reason is a commitment by many of us who are involved to self-determination and autonomy of the nations and regions of the UK. That is essential. And on becoming involved in your party, I really felt a genuine commitment by those involved to a different way of working, where my country, Cymru, along with other nations and regions in England, is treated with parity as an equal and is respected. That approach was so refreshing and music to my ears because historically the UK political establishment has always been top down and worse still has treated the nations and regions as an afterthought, with contempt even. Autonomy and self-determination means that it must be for the people of Wales and likewise Scotland and the regions of England to decide and manage how things are taken forward in the United Kingdom. It must be a given that decisions that affect Wales only should be determined by the people of Wales. Now, recent statements and actions at your party UK level have left many of us once genuinely hopeful about the creation of a credible left-wing alternative, shocked and seriously concerned. This behaviour is unacceptable. It has created needless division. It is indefensible. It fails members, it fails supporters, and it fails the millions of people up and down our country. And recently, Mark Swatko and I, as designated co-conveners for Wales, from the early days of your party, have issued public statements expressing our serious concerns about the lack of information sharing with us in Wales by your party UK. Our numerous attempts at requesting data and resources has fallen on deaf ears. All this hampers our ability to develop as we need to in Wales, but more importantly, it flies in the face of any commitment by your party UK to autonomy and self-determination for us. An additional issue now has been the failure to even invite either of us to speak at the conference. We will not allow Wales to be treated with contempt, and it is beyond shameful that the actions of a very small few at the centre of the UK your party level risks hindering what we are trying to achieve here in Wales. We in Wales want to develop a politics that is for the people, with the people of Wales. And we are determined to take that forward, to be an example to the rest of the UK. And by damn, we are getting on with it. And I want to take this opportunity to thank Mark and all the amazing activists and people involved within Wales. We really are working in unity, finding areas of common ground, treating each other with respect and dignity, and doing the outward-facing work that is needed. We really are leading the way here in Wales. Our inaugural conference back in September was a huge success with around 400 people in attendance planning the way forward. We've developed an all-Wales interim and long-term structures, strategic options for Senedd elections, and core values and principles. These include being anti-austerity, pro-peace, pro-workers, a party that stands for the redistribution of wealth and power, public ownership of utilities, and underlined by tolerance and compassion towards each other and supporting local community developments. Since then, our interim steering group has been meeting to take matters forward. We've got an IT and comms group which continues to meet, and we've got 15 plus local groups dotted across Wales who are doing outward-facing community grassroots building. And we are currently considering and consulting on opposition in relation to the Senedd elections, which are happening in less than 6 months' time. But there's still a lot of work to be done. And like I said, we are getting on with it, despite the constraints that have been placed upon us. It is time to stop navel-gazing and time to look outwards. Time to stop arguing about who's in charge of what. Stop the power struggles and time to get on doing stuff. We have our Welsh Senedd parliamentary elections in May. We want to have a voice in our Senedd. The people of Wales deserve a socialist voice. And a strong message that I want to send to everyone at the All Party Conference this weekend: Wales, as well as Scotland and the English regions, must be on the agenda. This treatment of our countries by ignoring us is not acceptable, and it must end. If we want to change the way politics is done, we must get out there with policies, those common areas that we share socialists, that people can support, can campaign on, can vote for. Sitting around in meetings talking to ourselves is not going to cut the mustard. My favourite quote from Marx talks about the need to change society. That's what I want to do, and I know that's what you want to do. But that means being out there in our communities, working alongside others, fighting for a society that puts the production for people, planet, and peace before profit, where the wealth created in our communities stays in our communities, and where the injustices and inequalities of our capitalist system are ended. This is indeed a historic moment, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. People are crying out for a new kind of politics, and it is incumbent on all of us to make this work. And I'm always hopeful, and I believe that we can and must do that. And here in Wales, drawing strength from those giants I mentioned at the outset, we will lead the way. So let's get to it. Let's win that world. Diolch yn fawr.